You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
So nobody's going to address the fact that Chloe was wrong for...
Caitlyn Jenner honored with the Arthur Ashe Courage Award at the ESPYs. Did she deserve it? Was it the right choice? Here she was last night on ABC. Take a look.
All across the world, at this very moment, there are young people coming to terms with being transgender. They're learning that they're different, and they're trying to figure out how to handle that on top of every other problem that a teenager has. They're getting bullied. They're getting beaten up. They're getting murdered. And they're committing suicide. But this transition has been harder on me than anything I could imagine. And that's the case for so many others besides me. For that reason alone, trans people deserve something vital. They deserve your respect. I'd like to thank, personally, my buddy Diane. So, you know, you can only tell your story the first time once, and Diane, you did it so authentically and so gracefully.
Joining me now in the audience.
What I'm about to say is going to rub a lot of you the wrong way. But I'm going to say it anyway, because this is my true, honest thoughts right now. That made me feel extremely uncomfortable. I'm not as mature as you all when it comes to this topic at all. All right? But I'm learning because the world is changing. That's what we do. When the world changes, and we're introduced to different ways of different lifestyles, different ways of living, we have to adjust with it because we're not in this world alone. But I think it's quite all right to not lie to yourself and just go along with the flow and just be like, okay, this is the new thing. I'm right along with it. No, nah, I'm not there yet. I'm getting there. I'm moving in that direction. That's called progression. I'm progressing. I'm a progressive, I guess. but yeah, that made me feel uncomfortable watching Bruce, Caitlyn Jenner. As you can see, I'm still calling Caitlyn Bruce, but it's it's baby steps. So if you're one of them type of people that can just say, "Oh, it is what it is. This is new, but I'm right there with it," without even thinking about it, then I honestly think you're lying to yourself, because nobody just pops up and be like, okay, everything that I learned in over the years and everything I learned in church and all these things and the Bible and my Christianity walk is completely out of the way because the world has changed. Now, it takes some time. So, but we got to be mature in order to do that. All right,
Oduolowu, entertainment journalist, Zoe Tur, pilot and reporter who herself is transgender, and Ben Shapiro, senior editor, Breitbart News, author of Bullies. Ben, did she deserve this award?
For what?
For courageously coming forward, for having been an athlete of great prowess and now fighting a new battle.
What exactly is the battle? I mean, self-definition is what you do, and my baby's doing it at 18 months old. I wasn't aware that you get a medal for it.
Shagun?
I think she's a fraud. I thought the message...
Ben Shapiro. Okay. Ben Shapiro, ladies and gentlemen. My gracious. Sheesh. What in the world? This dude just... All right.
And the messenger were wrong. I was in the audience at the ESPYs, and if you want to talk about courage, she said it herself in her speech that she retreated to her mansion in the Hill and was... Where was she in the 70s when the LGBT community was fighting for acceptance? Where was she in the 80s when the AIDS epidemic was ravaging the LGBT community?
She was hiding, feeling bad about being transgender.
Where was she in the 90s when shows like 90210, Melrose Place, and Will and Grace were bringing gay people to the forefront? Where was she in 2000?
She couldn't come forward yet.
My thing is this. She's a 65-year-old rich white woman that decided to do this, but don't tell me you're walking the truth for other transgender kids of color who don't have that war chest of money to get the surgery to look like she looks. They're not going to get the cover of Vanity Fair. So don't tell me that she is going to stand on the banks waving her hand as the beacon for transgenders when there's a river of blood of people that die.
Okay, regardless.
Wow. is this brother again? Sheesh. Oh my God. And that's why we need to have these conversations. Now, his stance was a bit more aggressive, but I'm with him. I'm with him on it. I apologize, but that's where I am. I mean, because some people don't have this. It's other people out there who are fighting the fight every single day, front line. And those are the people being bullied. Those are the people being killed. Those are the people committing suicide. Those are the people. But you have someone who's been able to live their life, have some children, live an amazing life as a man, as a sports star, and all these things, all these wonderful things, and be able to separate themselves from the rest of the world because of all of the wealth that they have. And then when they're ready, they can come out and be their true selves, and they're held at high regard as the hero. That right there, okay.
List of who the messenger is, okay, whether you like it or her not, or think that this is an authentic person or not, or her intent. She is bringing a conversation to the forefront that is helping people better understand, not you, unfortunately, better understand the transgender community, have more empathy, have more tolerance, and that is saving lives. Because as she stated, there are so many transgender youths and adults that are victims of that are beat up, that are bullied because of the discrimination. So thank God that now she is mainstreaming it so people can better understand it and have tolerance.
Sam, that's dead wrong.
Wait, wrong.
She lives in the most accepting city in the state. And go do that in Alabama.
don't know what you're talking
be a hero. Be a hero.
Listen to Zoe. Listen to Zoe.
Zoe, go ahead.
The lady that was speaking just now, she made a bunch of good points. She really did. She made a bunch of good points because regardless of Caitlyn Jenner's, you see, it's a struggle for me to do this. I'm not alpha male. I'm not beta male or any of that shit. I'm just a regular ass man that's been through my life and my own personal experiences. And I was raised in a way that was just far different from the way a lot of you were raised. So it's very difficult for me to call Bruce Caitlyn. But because out of respect, I'm going to do it, and I will address Caitlyn as such. But regardless of Caitlyn's lifestyle, the fact that Caitlyn did decide to take up that mantle and publicize it and say, okay, this need to be spoken about. Nobody else is really at this status that's making enough noise for this to be an actual conversation. So I'm going to do it. That right there is definitely worth acknowledging. Okay.
Good try. You have to bifurcate it. Did she deserve the honor? Probably not. Is she brave? Of course she's brave. All those years invested as this sports legend. To come out transgender is horribly difficult. It is the most difficult thing you can do. I've been overseas. I've flown helicopter missions, surveillance missions. I've been shot, stabbed. Being brave is being yourself. And being transgender is about the bravest thing you can do. Did she deserve the award? Yes.
Why are we mainstreaming delusion?
It's not delusion.
Why do you call it delusion?
Because Bruce Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No,
because
it's her. You're not being polite to the pronouns.
Because
disrespectful.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out.
Oh my gracious, bruh. Facts do not care about your feelings. Forget the disrespect. Are we having a conversation as adults? We're talking facts, not feelings. Wow.
Every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that his brain structure is male. It turns out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is irrelevant to the question of his biological sex.
I agree with that. I'm not on that train. I'm not on that train. She wants to be called she. I'm going to call her she. I just have a problem with the message and the messenger.
So let's do two things. I want to
Cuz separated himself quick from that. He was like, look, I'm not that extreme. I know I said some things about the message and the messenger, but what they're talking about, what he's talking about, that's not me, bruh. He still got a penis, but want to be called she. I'm going to call her she. Mama named Clay, I'm going to call him Clay.
Reiterate what Zoe said, which is the bifurcation of the courage to come forward after a lifetime as a male and a certain kind of a male versus did she deserve this award? Listen, the awards, what are award ceremonies except an opportunity to catch some eyes?
Especially the ESPN.
So, yeah. So, ESPN, well done, ABC. Yeah. They did exactly what their job was, to attract eyes. They did it. That's what award ceremonies are for. But in terms of the science behind gender dysphoria, you're very familiar with that, Zoe.
Very familiar.
It's not about the the chromosomes within our
both know
nuclei. Yeah, go ahead.
chromosomes don't necessarily mean you're male or female.
Gender.
With gender
identity. Go ahead. No, so,
especially, but even so, you have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
Would you like to discuss the genetics?
No. What are
your genetics?
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Now, see this right here? This right here is extremely disrespectful. First of all, we're having a conversation, a clear conversation. We're all adults. You touching me, first of all, is a no-no. Get the hell off of me, period. Don't touch me at all. We are not there. Our relationship is not there. Now you got your hand around my neck threatening me because I am being truthful the same way you're being truthful. That's disrespectful as hell. I don't give a damn if you fought and got stabbed and shot and all this other stuff. You want me to buy into what you represent right away? It does not work right away. And that right there is the problem. This right here is the problem. What y'all are seeing right now, this is the problem. Because you know that you're tougher, you've done all of this other stuff, and you know that physically you can whoop Ben Shapiro's ass. What does that prove? What? You're going to beat your ideals into him or something? What is that going to do? This right here is garbage right here. And I would love to see how it's addressed in a room, because somebody else should tell whoever this is what's going on is not right.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
No, I know. Well, but wait, to be fair, but to be fair, you're actually being rude. And that's not fair.
What?
Sorry, it's not rude.
Whoa, brother. The gentleman on I'm talking to the black man now. Come on, brother. To be fair, you're being kind of rude. Damn that happens in political conversations. Rudeness happens. It doesn't happen where if somebody's being rude, you can say, okay, now I'm about to whoop your ass. We never seen that in no daggone presidential debate, and they're rude to each other all the daggone time. I mean, they got on suits and they're pointing with their thumbs and they're trying to be as politically correct as possible. Come on, but nobody's going to take up for this gentleman right here, regardless if he feels the way that he feels. Somebody should let this person know that what they're doing is wrong. Period. That's not right.
To be fair, you're actually being rude. And that's not fair.
I'm sorry, it's not rude to say that someone who's biologically a male is a male. Someone who's biologically male is a male.
But Mr. Shapiro, you knew very well that saying that to Zoe would be egregiously insulting.
It's not a matter of insulting or inflammatory.
It is.
It's a fact.
No,
wow.
Sir, you're right. On paper, what is a fact is a fact, and I can't deny that. But you knew that going in that saying that to Zoe would be aggressively insulting.
Okay. So nobody's going to address the fact that Chloe was wrong for threatening that guy. Because if Chloe would have touched somebody and threatened somebody who was as aggressive as me, then y'all would have been picking Chloe's ass up off the floor. And then I would have been wrong for saying something that's offensive to Chloe. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Everybody's biased towards Ben Shapiro because he's speaking his truth that's opposite from everybody else in the room. That's bullying in and of itself. Do y'all not realize that? That's bullying.
It's a matter of aggressively insulting.
It is.
The entire discussion is whether we are embracing mental illness and delusion as a society. That's the entire discussion.
No, but that's you're avoiding the fact. You're avoiding the fact. If you want to talk facts, you're avoiding the fact. You're not a dumb man. You knew that saying that to Zoe would be incredibly hurtful.
Stop it. Roll on a last word here, because you haven't had a chance. And then,
you know, there's some very startling statistics that are out that say that 80% of us know somebody who's gay or bisexual or even transvestite or lesbian, but only 1% of us know somebody who is in transition. So this is a new discussion for us. A lot of it is very scary for a lot of people. But that's, I think, whether we agree with the whole Caitlyn transition or not, the reality is that we are in a state as humanity right now where we need to exercise a little bit more tolerance. We need to understand the things that we don't understand a bit more. Instead of making inflammatory comments, maybe we have a little bit more tolerance. That's what I think the strength
We'll keep this going.
Okay, I like her patience, and I like her being the adult in the room. I like her being the adult in the room, because everybody else is just being little dumbass kids, in my opinion.
Keep going, but later we're gonna no aggression, no violence. We're gonna Caitlyn Jenner. She was honored with the Arthur Ashe Courage Award last night at the ESPYs. There's speculation that the award was payback for having given Diane Sawyer her first interview with Jenner on ABC and ESPN, are part of the same corporation, of course, the Disney family. And ABC tells Los Angeles Times, quote, "There is absolutely no connection between the interview and the award. There's simply no truth to that claim." Back with Sam, Rolanda, and Mike, and in the audience, Shagun, Zoe, and Ben. All right, so Zoe, you're in that piece, you're saying it wasn't a transgender going at their own pace. It was a product rollout. What are the liabilities to the human being, Caitlyn Jenner, as a result of being a part of this product rollout?
Well, you can't sustain that type of energy. You cannot sustain that type of fame. Things shift. You have to reinvent yourself. But I think at some point this comes crashing down, because along with all this, you know, adulation and hype, eventually you find out that you're really in an existential crisis, because what's my life really going to be like? Will it be? You have to deal with people like this, the hatred, the people that, you know, that come out against you and say,
we're calling you delusional. It wasn't because it's hatred.
Yeah, that's hatred.
Okay.
This is just somebody that's.
I don't hate you. I have sympathy for you. I feel terrible for you.
No, you do hate. You're consumed with hatred. That is who you are. You're a little man.
know me?
You're a little man. Actually, I do. Let's
stick to the topic. Let's not these first.
But I mean, that's okay. He can be whatever he wants. But the point is,
right? That's what this is all about, isn't it?
It is. It is. But there's ramifications for hate speech. But
there are families all over America who raise their children in a way that to them is pure and loving, and they just want their children to understand certain things. They're just trying to raise them up to be good people. And I don't want to offend anybody when I say this, but I know I am. A person has a right to say that they don't want to see a man dressed up in lingerie and all this other stuff, and as a transgender woman on a Vanity Fair magazine, and not be attacked for that, saying that that's hate speech. What we need to also understand is Caitlyn Jenner's entire family, their claim to fame is doing things that's completely outside of the ordinary, never in line with the way that everybody else is moving, and they make sure that they capture a moment so that they can benefit financially. The only way I can see Caitlyn Jenner being as brave as everyone is trying to say that Caitlyn was brave is if Caitlyn did not benefit from this move. And from what I understand, that's not the case. I think Caitlyn Jenner has benefited immensely didn't have to completely mess up their life and okay, all right, I'm getting divorced from my wife who already knew that I was this way. My children already knew. I mean, well, now they're about to know something else. Something else that's wild about our family, this is about to come out. They have a right to not like it. They have a right to not be in support of it. Everybody don't have to support y'all. Just anybody who feel like they are just, okay, I'm different, support it. You can't force anybody to do that. And then when you do hear somebody telling you directly that, no, I believe this is just delusion. It's delusion. Not only because science backs it, but because the Bible backs it and other forms of religion backs it. But we're being true to ourselves and we're saying, this is who I am. This is how I feel. So there. Everybody else supposed to take that and run with it. Nah, man, it shouldn't always be that. Because this person right here has been a complete hypocrite right now toward Ben Shapiro. Simply because they're not eye to eye on this.
The point is that... Let me finish.
Go ahead, finish, sorry.
Little boy.
Zoe.
Okay.
Zoe.
So, I'm sorry.
It's all, everybody. Come on.
Buttons are being pushed.
Go ahead.
The whole point is that Jenner will come crashing down.
Okay.
Because
well, like in other reality shows, Mike, I saw a Facebook post where there was 30 reality shows that contestants or participants who had died within a year or two of their shows. And I was scrolling through that on Facebook. Something like 85% of them was suicide.
Right.
It's incredible.
It's like kind of becoming the quarterback before you've ever even played football.
Yeah.
There's a definite kind of build up to getting that type of attention.
Well, and now this too, in the face of all these tremendous changes in who this person is and their life and their lifestyle, and their family issues, all that is sort of now around this arousal of the...
Caitlin's built for it. I really do. This is let's not forget, this is a world-class athlete who's dealt with pressure her entire life, who knows how to speak to herself and pump herself up, who knows the difference between perseverance more than any other person that's a non-athlete. I think that this is her mission in life. And if I could ask you, because I'm still harping on some of the things that you mentioned earlier.
Back to Ben.
To Ben, you come from, like, in your mind, a moralist, right?
No, I come from a basic biological reality.
But, okay,
it's not a moral thing. If somebody wants to mutilate their body, that's their choice.
It's not mutilation, but can we just talk about
cutting off testicles is mutilation.
Can we talk about...
That's not actually what they do, though, right?
Okay, hold up.
They go inside out.
Well, but they don't even know, most transgenders don't
mutilation.
have the genital reassignment. Most of them are not.
Okay, Ben, can I finish real quick? Because this is important.
Well, I want to let you piggyback on something. May I let you do that?
Yes, you may.
Because
my blood is boiling.
I know, and I'm going to give you a little more fuel. This is now, because Ben is part of a lot of people that have various kinds of feelings about this. This is what Zoe's talking about. Here's Peter Berg, best known for producing Friday Night Lights. He posted this picture on Instagram with the caption, quote, "One man traded 2 legs for the freedom of the other to trade 2 balls for 2 boobs.
Yeah.
Guess which man made the cover of Vanity Fair? It was praised for his courage by President Obama, and is to be honored with the Arthur Ashe Courage Award by ESPN." That's similar stuff you're reacting to.
First of all, of course, a wounded soldier deserves all the accolade and respect in the world. They save lives. Well, guess what? There's many different ways to save lives. I believe that Caitlyn Jenner bringing this conversation to the forefront is saving lives. And at the end of the day, can you look at the fact that more than 50% of transgender youth attempt suicide because of discrimination, because of shame? Does that try to alter the way that how you should project your thoughts? What if they're watching right now? What if there is a teen out watching right now that is struggling with who they are, living their truth?
Let's talk about some of the biological facts for 1 second.
No, I want you to answer me. What would you say to a teen right now that really believes 100%?
You can't control his answer. Ask the question.
I'm full of emotion right now because people die.
I've noticed.
Clearly, it doesn't bother you because you're sitting there stone-faced and cold-hearted.
Of course it bothers me when people commit suicide, which is one of the reasons I don't believe that transgender surgery is the solution, considering that the suicide rate after transgender surgery is precisely the same as the suicide rate before transgender
Yeah, because then technically they're not passing, and then they're open for more discrimination.
Okay. The transgender suicide rate is approximately 0.8 in every 100. The only comparable suicide rate in human history of which I am aware is Jews living under Austrian and German rule during World War II. To liken the treatment of transgenders in the United States or the Western world to Jews living under Nazi. No, I'm actually comparing apples to apples in terms of the suicide rate.
But I think if you can see what discrimination
why don't we look
does,
at actual solutions?
Well,
why is it
then
always
stop
society's
hating,
fault?
tolerate.
It's not. I'm happy to tolerate whatever people want to do is what they want to do. But the idea that the surgery itself is something to be glorified, to be reveled in, the mental illness.
I think if you can bring up the difficulty that Jewish people have faced because of hatred, then why can't you, as a human, as Dr. Maya Angelou would say, that I am human, so therefore nothing human can be alien to me? Why can't you take that position and understand based upon your history?
I don't hate anybody who has a mental illness and is trying to figure out how to fix that.
Well, there might have been people who said...
I'm not going to liken the treatments of Jews under Nazis.
No, I think anytime a life is in trouble, we're all in trouble. We're all in trouble.
The reason I brought that up is as a comparison of the treatments of the two and saying that the suicide rate is similar. So therefore, if the circumstances of the two are different, and the
circumstances may not be different. If you have bullying, if you have murders, there is a genocide on transgender children right now. You got to believe
I think we are
it.
missing. I think we are going so far afield. As all people, we should be for inclusion. As a black person and as a Jewish person who knows what persecution is, we should all be for inclusion. No one is saying that we should not be for inclusion. At least I'm not. What I'm saying about this award is Caitlyn Jenner does not walk in the shoes of those young transgender youth because they don't have the means that she has. So when we say that she's supposed,
how she was as a teenager,
and you cannot deny the fact that she gave hope to somebody out there. They may not have the $70,000.
I don't know about y'all, but this conversation is annoying the hell out of me, bro. Because they're not going to stop talking over each other until everybody in the room are all in agreement. It's like, okay, do we have to vote yay? Everybody, do we have to vote yay that this is the right way to move before we move forward? Like, in Ben Shapiro is the only person that's holding us back from this vote? Is that what that is? Does the verdict have to go against do we have to put a verdict in, or do we have to tell the judge that, we haven't made a decision yet and we're going to have to be here for another 10 hours? Come on, bro. Like, listen to, everyone should have a thought that should be at least acknowledged and looked over. I mean, Ben Shapiro is the only person that gave actual hardcore facts about suicide rates and whatnot. And everybody's like, no, it's not about that. It's not about that. We need to look at the stuff that everyone's going through, and it could have been you. It's every group is going through the same thing. So since this is a room filled with inclusion, we should all feel included and just move that way. And if we don't, you don't have a heart. This is BS, man.
They may not have a white gown and get to walk away with an SB.
Got to wrap it there. I got to wrap it there. Ben, let me just deal with your biological question, mental illness question. Let's say that transgender is a mental illness. How would you? What's the goal of treatment then?
The goal of treatment would be to cure whatever.
Can't cure it. It's not curable.
Okay.
Lots of illnesses are not curable. This one has to not be curable. What's alcoholism? Alcoholism, for instance. What's the goal?
So the goal would be to allow people to live with it in an appropriate way.
To flourish, right?
To flourish.
Not to require them to assign to one gender or another, but to flourish.
Right. Without imposing on the rest of society a necessity for fictionalized thinking. Okay, because that actually is a cost to society. I'm sorry, but my grandfather was bipolar, okay?
Yeah.
And he thought that the radio was talking to him.
Yeah.
They put him in a mental hospital. They did not tell him the radio was talking to him to allow him to live a better life. They put him into a mental hospital, and then they gave him lithium, which allowed him to live a better life. Looking for better solutions than transgender surgery would be a better solution than pretending that transgender surgery is the cure.
People are looking for treatments all the time. This has been the one.
This is stopping the look.
No, it really isn't. But be that as it may, there's the movie called Infinitely Polar Bear out there about being bipolar and how they are ostracized to this day. So.
Yeah. Okay. Whew. All right. Please let me know what y'all got from that. And if I got any haters from this video, I apologize, man. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to get any haters. Everything I do is with the intent to understand and But what I didn't understand is why they all had him on the show just to everyone jump on him for not buying into it all. What y'all think? Please let me know in the comments. All right? Love y'all.